In the vibrant landscape of human relationships, curiosity often plays an overlooked role, a force, a drive that propels us to explore and understand the world and people around us. But like a double-edged sword, it can be muffled by two typical slayers: shame and inflexibility of beliefs. The former shrouds our inquisitiveness in a need for validation, while the latter paints others with a static brush, ignoring their dynamism. So how does one reclaim this primeval urge? By shedding judgments, verifying our beliefs, and cultivating the art of inquisitive questioning. Mind you, it's a journey rather than a destination that demands vulnerability and an openness to revise our understanding of others. Now, just when you start to wonder about the profound impact of curiosity. We'll get there soon enough. What's up, my amazing and curious folks? Ready to dive into another mystery together? I'm Caesar, your guide on this journey, and with me is the brilliant Sonia, always ready to share her insights. Don't forget to subscribe to the Curiosity Wonderland and hit that bell icon for your daily dose of knowledge and curiosity.
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here and unravel the mysteries of life with all of you.
And we promise, today's topic will leave you pondering and wanting more. So buckle up and let's get started. Now imagine a life where your relationships stay at a surface level, or worse, become purely transactional. It was like that for me for a long time. I was so engrossed in seeking others' approval that I forgot to be genuinely curious about them. The irony is that I was completely oblivious of this fact. What's worse is that I was missing out on the beautiful gifts that come from being genuinely interested in another person. It took me a while, but I eventually discovered the transformative power of curiosity. I remember a time when I was working with a life coach. We were discussing how to ask better questions to create more connection in my life. We even broke down the components of a good question. I tried, admittedly clumsily at first, to ask people better questions, and sometimes it led to deeper conversations. But other times, well, let's just say it led to awkward interactions. But then one day, I found myself so engrossed in a conversation that I completely forgot about the framework. To my surprise, the conversation had everything I was searching for: depth, vulnerability, and connection. Reflecting on that conversation, it dawned on me that the questions I asked were exactly the kind I was learning to ask. But why? Because I was genuinely interested and curious about the person. It was that simple. Curiosity led to good questions, which in turn led to deeper connections. And the amazing part is, I am a naturally curious person. I just never realized that I could direct this endless curiosity to the person right in front of me. And when I did, my life changed. Imagine bringing this level of curiosity to your conversations, whether with a close friend or a stranger. Wouldn't that be incredible? I'd love to know what you think, dear listeners. Are you as fascinated by the transformative power of curiosity as I am? Don't forget to let us know in the comments section. You know, this reminds me of an experience I had not long ago. I was at a coffee shop, and I ended up striking a conversation with an elderly man who was sitting alone. I could have just exchanged pleasantries and moved on, but I decided to be genuinely curious about him. And what do you know? We ended up having the most fascinating conversation about his life as a Navy officer and his travels around the world. The stories were eye-opening.
Coincidentally, I had a similar experience last week. I was out for a walk, and I met this woman who was passionately talking about her garden. I decided to be genuinely interested in what she had to say, and I ended up learning so much about horticulture and the environment. She even invited me over to see her garden. It was an incredible experience.
It's amazing, isn't it? Every conversation turns into an adventure when we bring our curiosity to it. The people we meet stop being mere acquaintances and instead become unique expressions of life, ready for us to explore. And this is not just for our benefit. People appreciate our genuine curiosity. It tells them that they are interesting and worth giving attention to.
Absolutely. Curiosity not only deepens our connections with others, but also enriches our own lives. But before we go further, let's take a moment to understand what curiosity really is. It's an inherent human quality, an insatiable desire to understand, imagine, and make sense of our world. Without curiosity, we wouldn't have evolved as a species. As the saying goes, curiosity may have killed the cat, but it definitely brought progress to mankind.
Well said. Be it a conversation with a stranger or a deep bond with a loved one, curiosity adds that spark and depth that we all crave. And let's not forget, it's our curiosity that makes this curiosity wonderland so much fun. Isn't that right? Curiosity has been the driving force behind all our discoveries, be it in the realm of science or in our daily lives. It is what keeps us hooked to a TV show when there's a cliffhanger, or why some people can't put down a crossword puzzle until they finish it. But when it comes to our relationships, many of us seem to disconnect from this innate human quality. Why is that?
That's a great question, Caesar. One word: shame. Shame, in excess, often suppresses our curiosity. Many of us, at some point in our lives, have internalized an unfortunate event as our fault, leading to a belief that there is something fundamentally wrong with us. This belief manifests as low self-worth, making us feel like we're never enough.
That's absolutely true, Sonia, and such feelings are so painful that we unconsciously resort to various tactics to deal with them, often blocking our curiosity in the process. One common tactic is seeking approval and validation from others. The idea is, if others see us as enough, we might be able to convince ourselves of the same and thus alleviate our shame.
Exactly, Caesar. And this is where people-pleasing tendencies come in. We tend to sacrifice our needs in the hope that it will bring us more approval. But what we don't realize is that this strategy often backfires, leading us to feel more disconnected from ourselves and others.
I couldn't agree more, Sonia. It's a vicious cycle. We must address these curiosity killers if we want to experience genuine connections and rich relationships. And remember, curiosity isn't just about asking questions, it's about showing genuine interest in understanding others. There's a whole world to discover in every person we meet. Now, another barrier to curiosity is our rigid worldview. Humans have a love-hate relationship with uncertainty. We crave knowledge, but eventually we want to feel certain that we understand the world.
So we create mental models to help make sense of things, right?
Exactly. These mental models are basically our attempts to form meaning. They are necessary for us to navigate through life. But the problem arises when we start assuming that we know everything and stop updating these models.
So that's when our worldview becomes rigid?
Precisely. This rigidity can become even more dangerous when paired with something called mental schemas. These schemas are basically our brain's way of grouping things based on similar traits. It's a useful tool, but when combined with a rigid worldview, our understanding becomes set in stone.
So we stop questioning and exploring then?
Yes, we start accepting these generalized meanings as law. This can prevent us from bringing genuine curiosity to our interactions because we assume that we already know everything there is to know. To keep our curiosity alive, we need to stay open-minded and willing to revise our understanding of people and the world around us. This preconception extends beyond just our worldview. We also tend to box people into categories. We assume everyone in a particular group is the same and overlook their individual uniqueness. This mentality rears its head in all kinds of relationships.
So in wanting to understand others, we inadvertently limit them.
Exactly. We tend to dismiss new people as that type of person. We judge them based on a quick assessment, assume we know them completely, and move on. This is especially common when we've been hurt by someone similar.
So we write off new people to protect ourselves?
Yes, it's a natural instinct. But it hinders our curiosity. If we think we already know someone, we don't give them a chance. There's no motivation to understand someone you believe you already understand.
And this doesn't just apply to new people, does it?
Correct. This tendency is just as common, if not more so, in our closest relationships. We often box in the people we love, defining them by certain traits and behaviors, and forgetting that people are dynamic, not static.
Dynamic as in constantly changing.
Yes, people have patterns, but we're always evolving and growing. We're never the exact same person from one moment to the next. If we see people as static, we lose our curiosity about them. But embracing the dynamism of human beings can keep that curiosity alive. The beauty of human interaction lies in our infinite complexity. Even those who seem stuck in their ways are never the exact same as they were in a previous moment. If we were to dust off our curiosity and focus it on those closest to us, we'd discover that we can never truly know someone completely.
That's a bit mind-boggling, isn't it?
It certainly is. Each person is infinitely diverse, complex, and ever-changing. The moment we think we know someone completely is the moment we've lost our curiosity.
So even if we become more open and curious, we'll eventually slip back into assumptions.
That's human nature. We crave the safety of certainty, which can lead us to stop updating our understanding. That's why it's important to constantly practice curiosity and be humble enough to revise our beliefs and understanding.
But how do we go about dropping our rigid worldview?
The first step isn't as simple as just dropping our assumptions and judgments. Many people think it's that easy and end up feeling shameful for their judgments. The key lies in checking if our judgments are true and updating them when necessary. It's important to remember that how we see reality is more a reflection of our worldview than actual reality. As Alfred Korzybski, the Polish-American scientist and philosopher, said, "The map is not the territory." Our understanding of the world isn't the world itself. It's biased, warped, and that's okay. We can use every moment and interaction with people to update it. Instead of set beliefs, reframe your thinking to see them as assumptions, as your best guess.
And we can use relationships to help us check these assumptions?
Absolutely. Other human beings are the best feedback loop that exists. If you think someone is upset, ask them. If you think someone is being judgmental, confront them. It can be daunting to verify our assumptions and guesses, but it's something we must actively and courageously do.
So every interaction becomes an opportunity to update our understanding.
Yes, with every interaction, we're given the chance to clean our lens of reality, update our mental map of the world, and see the person in front of us with greater clarity. As we start to see people clearly, we begin to comprehend the unique wonder that everyone is.
How can we cultivate this sense of wonder and curiosity?
In my workshops, I guide people through a curiosity exercise where they focus their attention on another person. I lead them through a short meditation to access their sense of wonder. They are guided to appreciate the unique journey of the person in front of them, their triumphs, their pains, their whole tapestry of experiences. They're encouraged to see the other as a unique individual with a life as rich and complex as their own.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
It truly is. It helps us recognize the miracle that every person is, the most unique person in the world, because no one else has had the same experiences they have. It cultivates a deep sense of curiosity and wonder, and that's what it means to truly see and understand people. So after this realization, we're prompted to ask each other curious questions. And the truth is, billions of years post-Big Bang have had to happen exactly as they have happened for any one person to exist. The odds of a specific person existing are so ridiculously improbable, each person is quite literally a miracle.
That's a profound thought.
To be truly curious about another person is to recognize the miracle in them. There's a lot to learn from the person who looks at their hand and wonders what it really is. When we drop our usual perspectives, everything becomes extraordinary. And I dare say, there's nothing more extraordinary than the complexity of another human being.
So it's about treating every interaction as an exploration.
Precisely. A fun approach to this practice is to think of yourself as an art connoisseur and the person in front of you as a masterpiece painting. You could spend countless hours examining every detail and still not fully grasp it. You can do the same with a person in an even more enriching way, because unlike a painting, you can interact with the person.
And that leads to asking the questions we really want to ask.
Exactly. We often restrict ourselves to asking questions we think we should ask because of societal scripts or fear of prying. But allowing ourselves to ask genuine questions enhances our understanding of others. If you're worried a question might be too nosy, reassure them that they don't have to answer if they don't want to. It's all about fostering open and honest communication. Being curious doesn't mean being intrusive. You can phrase your questions more as statements of curiosity, like, "You don't have to respond, but I feel curious about." This takes the pressure off and makes the other person more comfortable and safe to engage with your curiosity.
So it's about the approach.
Yes, Sonia. It's important to distinguish between a curious question and a leading question. A curious question comes from a place of pure curiosity and an openness to the truth. A leading question, on the other hand, often has a hidden agenda. It might be trying to suggest a different perspective or make an accusation. For example, asking someone, "Don't you think it's time you start eating better?" isn't coming from a place of curiosity, but judgment.
So giving ourselves permission to ask questions doesn't give us the right to be disrespectful.
Exactly, Sonia. People can easily sense the energy of a leading question versus a curious question. Leading questions can shut people down, while curious questions can open them up. Bringing genuine curiosity to your life and relationships can open up possibilities that didn't exist before. It's like having a superpower. It turns life into an adventure where everyone and everything is exciting and ready to be explored.
Like when you were in Mexico?
Yes, I ended up exploring a gated, spiritual residential community. Rather than being interested in the role the manager was playing, I was interested in her as a person. I let my curiosity free and started asking questions about her. We ended up having a very open, honest, and vulnerable conversation. It's a testament to the power of curiosity. And you know, following your curiosity can lead you to unexpected adventures. In Mexico, I met a woman at a festival and told her about this philosophy of connection that I practice and teach. She was interested and we met up later to talk more about it.
And that's when you got the opportunity to teach a workshop.
Exactly. She offered me the chance to teach a workshop at the hotel her friend owns. None of these events would have happened if I hadn't acted on my curiosity. It opened up a series of adventures that I couldn't have even planned.
So curiosity can open up new possibilities even in relationships that seem stuck.
Absolutely, Sonia. I've had friends and family members where curiosity has opened up new avenues for connection when I thought those doors had been shut forever. But it's vital to remember that curiosity without your own vulnerability will leave you knowing others, but not being seen yourself.
So it's a two-way street.
Indeed. True curiosity requires us to confront our own shame, challenge our long-held beliefs and worldviews, and ask the questions that are frightening to ask. It's not easy, but the rewards are transformative. It can truly change your life and your relationships in ways you could never imagine. So folks, we've been on a journey today, diving into the power of curiosity and how it can transform our lives and relationships. We've learned that two of the biggest killers of curiosity are shame and a rigid worldview. To combat these, we need to let go of assumptions and judgments, consistently check the accuracy of our beliefs, and master the art of asking curious questions.
Yes, and it's a reminder that curiosity isn't just about asking questions. It's about developing a mindset that's open, vulnerable, and willing to see the miracle in every person.
Couldn't have said it better, Sonia. Remember, curiosity is the key that opens the doorway to the unknown. And in the unknown, we find adventure, growth, and deep connections.
Exactly. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Curiosity Wonderland. If you've enjoyed our exploration of curiosity, then do us a favor. Blast that like button, leave a comment, and share this episode with your friends.
We'd love to hear about your own adventures with curiosity. Thanks for joining us today, and we can't wait to bring you more exciting discussions in the future.
Until next time, stay curious, folks.
Goodbye, everyone. Stay safe and keep exploring. Today's enlightening discussion was based on an article titled "There Are No Meaningful Relationships Without Your Curiosity," written by Alex Hirschman and published on Medium.com on the 2nd of April, 2024. If you wish to delve deeper into the topic, you'll find the full URL in the video description. All right, I'm signing off for now.